What if I told you that the man who saved your life also killed millions of others? Not a king, not a general, not a dictator. A chemist. A quiet, brilliant, obsessive German scientist who spent his entire life trying to feed the world. And in doing so, he also helped murder it. His name was Fritz Haber, and by the end of this video, you will not know whether to thank him or to despise him. Welcome to History Autopsy. Today we cut open the most complicated soul in all of human history. Let's begin. The year is 1898. The world's population is exploding. Cities are growing faster than farms can feed them. Scientists across Europe are issuing the same terrifying warning. Within 50 years, humanity will run out of food. Not because of war, not because of drought, because of nitrogen. Here is something most people never learn in school. Every living thing on Earth needs nitrogen to survive. It is the foundation of every protein, every cell, every muscle in your body right now. The problem? Nitrogen is trapped, locked in the air around us, making up 78% of the atmosphere, but completely useless to plants and humans in that form. For thousands of years, farmers had one solution: animal manure, bird droppings, bat caves. The most valuable substance on Earth was literally waste, and it was running out. Scientists knew the answer was somewhere in the sky. If only someone could find a way to pull nitrogen from the air and turn it into something living things could actually use. Hundreds of the greatest scientific minds in Europe tried and failed for decades. Then came Fritz Haber. Fritz Haber was born in 1868 in Breslau, Germany, a city that no longer exists on any modern map. He was Jewish, brilliant, relentlessly ambitious, and deeply, desperately hungry to prove himself to a world that didn't fully accept him. He didn't sleep like normal men. He didn't rest like normal men. He worked like a man trying to outrun something, and perhaps he was. For years, Haber attacked the nitrogen problem with an obsession that bordered on madness. His laboratory was filled with failed experiments, broken equipment, endless frustration. His colleagues gave up. His university funding ran dry. His wife Clara, herself a brilliant chemist, one of the first women to earn a PhD in Germany, watched her husband disappear into his work and quietly began to question everything he stood for. But Haber did not stop. And then, in 1909, in a small laboratory in Karlsruhe, Fritz Haber achieved something that had never been done in the history of human civilization. He pulled nitrogen from thin air. He combined it with hydrogen under extreme heat and pressure and produced ammonia, the key ingredient in artificial fertilizer. For the first time in history, humans could grow food not just from the land, but from the sky itself. The implications were staggering. Within a decade, his process was industrialized by the chemical engineer Carl Bosch. Fields that had never been fertile became abundant. Harvests doubled, then tripled. Today, scientists estimate that without the Haber-Bosch process, the Earth could sustainably feed only 4 billion people. The current world population is over 8 billion. That means roughly half of every human being alive today, half the people you have ever met, every second person walking down the street, exists because of what Fritz Haber did in that laboratory. He didn't just feed the world, he doubled it. And in 1918, he received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. The audience applauded. But in the corridors outside, other Nobel laureates refused to shake his hand. Because by 1918, the world already knew what else Fritz Haber had done. The year is 1914. The First World War has begun. And Fritz Haber, the man who just saved humanity, makes a choice that will define his legacy forever. He volunteers, not as a soldier, as a scientist. He offers his mind, his laboratory, and his soul to the German military. And the German military gives him a project that no other scientist will touch. Develop a weapon using poison gas. Now, you have to understand something about the war in 1914. Both sides are locked in trenches that stretch for hundreds of miles across France and Belgium. Millions of soldiers, completely stuck. Neither side can advance. The German High Command is desperate. They need something to break through. Something that can flow through the air, creep into every corner, reach every hiding place. Fritz Haber looks at chlorine gas, a yellow-green cloud of pure suffocation, and he sees the answer. His own colleagues refuse to work with him. His wife, Clara, begs him to stop. She tells him that what he is doing is not science. It is a perversion of science, a crime against humanity. Haber does not listen.
On April 22, 1915, at a place called Ypres, Belgium, Fritz Haber personally oversees the first large-scale chemical weapons attack in human history. 168 tons of chlorine gas are released from 5,700 cylinders along a 4-mile front. The wind carries the yellow-green cloud toward the Allied trenches. The soldiers see it coming and do not understand what it is. Some think it is a smoke screen. Some think it is a strange fog. And then it hits them. Chlorine gas destroys the lining of the lungs. Victims drown in their own fluids while fully conscious. Their lips turn blue. Their eyes burn. They claw at their own throats, trying to breathe. In minutes, 1,000 soldiers are dead. In the days that follow, thousands more. The attack works so well that even the German army is not prepared for it. They do not advance fast enough to take advantage of the chaos. But the weapon has been unleashed, and the world will never be the same. Fritz Haber returns to Berlin, a hero, celebrated, promoted to captain. He throws a dinner party to celebrate. That same night, May 1st, 1915, Clara Haber goes into the garden and shoots herself with his military pistol. Their 12-year-old son, Hermann, runs outside at the sound of the shot and holds his mother as she dies. The next morning, Fritz Haber leaves for the Eastern Front to supervise more gas attacks. He does not attend his wife's funeral. The war ends, Germany loses, and the world turns its eyes on Fritz Haber. The Allied powers declare him a war criminal. The man who invented the most feared weapon of the First World War is placed on their list of most wanted criminals. Haber flees Germany. He disguises himself, changes his appearance, wanders through Europe in hiding. But here is the cruelest twist of all. The country he gave everything to, the country he served with every atom of his being, the country he chose over his own wife's pleading, that country turns on him too. In 1933, Adolf Hitler rises to power in Germany, and the new law is clear. Jewish people have no place in German science, German universities, or German life. Fritz Haber, who had converted to Christianity, who had dedicated his entire life to German glory, who had sent his own wife to her grave in service to the German military, is fired. He is told to dismiss all Jewish scientists from his institute. He refuses. He resigns instead, and writes a letter that is one of the most heartbreaking documents in scientific history. I was a German more than I was a Jew. For 40 years I have served my country. I can no longer do so. He leaves Germany forever, broken, stateless, alone. And then the final horror. The same chemical processes that Haber pioneered, his work on nitrogen chemistry, his expertise in gas dispersal, are taken by the Nazi regime and developed into something called Zyklon B, the poison used in the gas chambers of the Holocaust. The same gas that killed Fritz Haber's own relatives, his own family, his own people. The weapon built on the foundation of his life's work. Fritz Haber dies in 1934 in a hotel room in Basel, Switzerland, alone, on his way to a new life he will never reach. So who was Fritz Haber? Was he the man who saved 4 billion lives, the greatest benefactor in human history? Or was he the man who unleashed chemical warfare, drove his wife to suicide, and laid the scientific groundwork for the Holocaust? History does not give us a clean answer, because Fritz Haber is not a clean story. He is a mirror. He shows us what happens when genius has no limits, when ambition outgrows conscience, when a man chooses his country over his humanity and is destroyed by that same country in the end. The nitrogen in your body right now, the atoms that make up your muscles, your blood, your brain, there is a statistical chance that those atoms passed through a process that Fritz Haber invented. You may literally be alive because of him. And somewhere, carved into a memorial in Europe, are the names of soldiers who died choking in a yellow-green cloud because of him. History is never simple. History is never clean. History is Fritz Haber. This was History Autopsy. If this story made you think, if it made you uncomfortable, if it made you question what genius really means, then subscribe. Because next week, we go even deeper. History is always watching.